What in the world? If you're in here, please say something in the chat so I can recalibrate this stupid thing. My goodness. That's Elgato. That's video capture. This is making nan piece of sense. Thank you, Mackenzie. What is this garbage doing? Streamlab OBS problems. Me no want no problems. I'd like to just one time just start a stream and just start it, you know, and have it just work. That would be great. So let me so annoying. So annoying. Boomtendo, hello Mackenzie. Am I getting smaller or are you getting bigger? I just missed GameCube A. Let's see some Wii U streams. Yes, the Wii U streams is coming. Ow. Just got a weird pain in my back. Oh, strange. Alright, I have to sit at an angle here. Please don't mess up anything. Me moving that. Okay. See a unruly dread. Just it's the little short one that broke off. Oh no, I can't. Whatever. What's good? Who's that? Big J. If you talk about Wii U ports, I'm unsubbing. No, not tonight. I know you're joking, but you wouldn't believe me. Right after you started streaming GameCube, my power went out and I lost all my internet. Oh, that's lame, Mackenzie. That is super lame. That was a fun stream. Hope you at least got to watch it in the replay. What? Who that be? Who that be? Head up. Wait, where's my... Oh, this is it. Looks like we're clipping into the video here. Let me move over the chat slightly. Oh, too far. Oh, too far. All right. Let's make my video a little smaller. Why is the chat that big? All right. Let me make the chat a little smaller. Shouldn't be that big. All right. Let's bring Well, that's gonna stay there. Okay, that should be good. Wambombi. Oh, wait. There. Alright, that should be good. That should be good. Alright. Sup, people? Make sure you're hitting the like button as you're coming in here. That would be very nice. Most of you have. Okay. I think we're... Boom! Nintendo. Upside down. It's kind of weird that they would make the shirt that way. Because if you do that, the logo's upside down. Is there one on this side? Yeah. It's weird. Huh! I dream of Genie. Alright. Like, I'm at an angle here. It's just weird because I'm sitting at my desk angled. Alright. Dang it. Alright. Today I was reading articles about analysts predicting Nintendo Switch will outsell the PS5 and Xbox Series X, and I'm like, cool. Does anybody really care? No, not me. and I can see that you don't carry the Mackenzie. What does that even mean? And it's like, those are next gen consoles. Lurking Ghoul, T, I was playing your favorite beat 'em up, Battletoads. Is it out? The new Battletoads? Woo! Okay, yeah, you just said it came out. I haven't played it yet. You know, I get it free on Game Pass, so I gotta check it out. I'm sure it's great. And from and from your sarcasm there, I'm sure you're having a blast. You might like it. I don't know. All right, we're finally live. Stupid Streamlabs OBS is being stupid. We had issues yesterday. We weren't using Streamlabs yesterday. I don't think that's what Juice uses. But anyway, it's whatevs. So tonight we're gonna talk about my favorite, your favorite. I don't know if it's your favorite. The Nintendo 64. Now I'm not gonna do a complete collection showing because I already have collection videos on my my YouTube already. They're in a series, they're in a playlist, Nintendo 64 collection, and I go through all my games. I might have got a couple more after that video, but nothing significant. So, and I meant to get something. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Just give me. All right, I'm back. Why does it take so much longer for my overlays to come back? Manunu Banayes. Hola. Is it Banales or Banayet? Banales. Hola. Hola, Chico. Why does it do this? No, I don't want to open the settings. Where's the chat? All right. We're back. And I'm still black. All right, so. Where's my chat? Where's my chat? There it is. Hold on 1 second. I just want to see something. This is just a test to make sure my chat's working. Did I spell it right? Okay, yeah. Test. Okay. Thought it said Tessie. Alright. Everything's fine. Okay. So, like I said, I'm not going to do the entire collection. That would take forever. I have like 125 games or so. And I already did a collection video, or at least a set of collection videos already on my channel. Don't go watch it now. But I go through every game that I own. Nice little video, shows you some game footage and all that stuff. But we're going to do highlights here. We're going to do the best games and some accessories. Accessories that there's a lot of accessories I don't have because a lot came out in Japan, and I don't really have that stuff. So, what am I saying? There's Game Boy players basically that let you play your Game Boy games on your N64. I don't have those because I don't really need them. GameCube has that, and they're way super expensive to own today for GameCube. So, did I forget to put my mic back on? I did. Can you guys hear me? Whoops. Wait, let me read what Mackenzie's saying here. I agree with you 100%, T. The PS5 and the Xbox Series X are next-gen consoles. If someone is happy with the console they own, or get why it doesn't matter if it's outselling or being outsold. Yeah, and I think another reason that Switch will probably end up selling more is because maybe not so much PS5, but PlayStation is not going to run away with the generation, I don't think, this time, the way they did before. One, Nintendo is strong sales-wise. Microsoft has a plan for the future, and so I think, either nobody's console is going to sell as much as before, because people are going to be looking at these services a lot harder, I think, over the next 5 years. And the hardware just isn't going to sell as much. Like I said, Sony, I don't know what their plan is going to be going forward. If they're going to care about hardware, obviously they will next gen, or this, I guess next gen, because we haven't gotten it yet. I guess they will next gen, but I think somewhere in the middle of that gen, hardware sales for a lot of stuff is just going to start falling off. And it won't be as crazy as it is. And I think it won't be the best way to gauge how a company is doing with their game sales. That might still last, 5 or so years for Nintendo and Sony. Obviously, Microsoft's going a different route, and they're trying to do the Apple thing where they reach you on multiple devices, which is not dumb. I mean, that's just kind of the way of the future. What if your apps only worked on one type of TV, like one smart TV? And Microsoft is thinking like that. We don't want to just be one TV. Yeah, you can get our TV to play these apps, but there's multiple ways to play apps, and so why not reach people that way? I mean, you guys all know that anyway, but we'll talk about that some other time. But anyway, N64, like I said, I have the best games, at least that I feel are the best games, standouts, and we'll do that. We'll talk about hardware first. So I'll start with Sony and Nintendo are going to continue with the path they're on, while Microsoft may eventually drop consoles. Yeah, I actually think the series consoles, I don't think they'll drop them because they're calling it series for a reason. They want people to think of it the way people think of iPhones, or iPads, or or Apple TV, or even iMacs. They want, you know, a new iMac comes out every year. I don't know if they're going to get to that level, but they want people to have more access to their games and services. So, and I think, at some point, even the holdouts are going to be going that route too. So, all right. So N64, we'll start with the most obscure third-party thing I have, and it's this third-party controller, which attempted to get rid of one of the issues some people had with the N64 is the 3-prong setup. It was too confusing for some people, I guess. So now you have this weird thing going on here. As you can see, it has everything. It just doesn't have a third prong. And so the joystick is here. It's fine. It's not the most comfortable. This Z trigger is actually kind of crap. It works. I've used it before. The D-pad is like weird and long and stringy, but it works. And it's kind of weird for the D-pad though when you go to 2D games because it's kind of curved in, so it's not like a straight up cross pad. It turns a little bit. It just feels weird. It's hard to use, but there's not really too many 2D games or too many games that you use the D-pad on for N64 anyway. But yeah, so this is, I don't even know who made this. It just says gamepad, so it's by somebody. All right, we'll put that over there. All right, and now here is the traditional N64 controller, which is one of my favorites. I love this controller to death. I will fight tooth and nail to the ends of time for this controller. I love it. Obviously, it has the 3 prongs. You have your 6-button action buttons, start button, no select. Just no select is kind of obsolete. D-pad, which is very nice, very good D-pad, which nobody really talks much about because, like I said, not a lot of D-pad usage on the N64. But the infamous stick, which gets chalky after a while because you're kind of grinding plastic to plastic. But this is my day one stick, and as you can see, it's very snappy. So I got lucky in that department, I guess. And there's your expansion port for your memory card, which I didn't pull out for some reason. But the rumble pack, which is one of probably my favorite accessory on the N64. Slide that in. This is the first time we got force feedback on gaming controllers, at least on home consoles. I think it beat everything, but I could be wrong about that. Mackenzie says, now on to Jaguar, the world's first 64-bit console. I meant N64, yeah. Fangirl, what's up, Vicky? Yeah, so Rumble Pack was one of the most mind-blowing things. I mean, along with the mind-blowingness of just playing games in 3D for the first time in a viable way. We played 3D games before, but it wasn't until the N64 where we got like true I'm in that world 3D, and it felt right, controlled right, and it was just right. N64 showed everybody how to do it correctly. So you have your 2 shoulder buttons, just like Super Nintendo, and like I said, your B and A. All these buttons feel really great. One of the things I love about the N64 is the C buttons, or the camera buttons, because for me, this is like the best thing next to a mouse and keyboard for first-person shooters, because you can strafe left and right, you can look up and down, or you can go forward and back, and you can look around using the analog stick. And that's how I love to play shooters, especially GoldenEyes and Perfect Darks and things like that. N64 was the best console at the time, up until the 6th gen, for first-person shooters. Because you didn't get that kind of wobbly, shaky wall stuff you got on PlayStation 1. And the controller just never felt good for FPS games the way N64 did. This is like the perfect controller at the time for FPS. And I still like this better than dual analog. I still like this better. I think it's faster. Like I said, you strafe, look around, you aim using, the R button. So you can aim down your barrel, that kind of thing. Great stuff. Love this controller to death. All right. And this is my day one Nintendo 64, which also works really great. I got my NES cartridge sticker on there. Very nice. Yes, I did. Okay, yeah, I want to make sure. So there's my 4 megabyte expansion pack. The systems came with the jumper pack, but I eventually got an expansion pack. Some games are weird. They don't really want to work. There's only a couple games that don't want to work with the expansion pack, if I'm not mistaken. There's your power. There's your reset. The cartridge goes in here. This one has been modded. I don't know if I can show you. But if you wanted to play import games, let me see if I can get close enough. Yeah. So down in here, you can barely see it. I filed off. There's little bumpers that keep import games from going in, because import games work no problem on the N64, no matter what region you are. But the console itself will block certain games. So if you look at, see if I can find where's one of my import games? I know I got one. Tisk. Oh, is that one? No. Oh, right here. All right, so I'll show you the difference. All right, so that's the Japanese cart, and you can see how the plastic is here. It's kind of got that little square thing. And here is a North American cart. And oh gosh, trying to line them up, it's hard. So you can see how it's different. And so there's a plastic divot inside the cart that blocks different regions, but it plays perfectly fine. Now, not all games play. Let me see if I have one of the games that won't play in a... Do I have it? It's supposed to have everything ready to go. See if I can spot it, because I know I had it in my hand at least. We'll get to carts. We'll look at that. But anyway, some games won't play regardless. I'm sure it has to do with the hardware inside. Some PAL games won't work in my NTSC N64. 4 megabytes of power. All right, here's another accessory. The transfer pack. As you can see, I got a copy of Pokemon in there. And this goes into the controller as well. Pop that out. It would allow you to play some games, but mostly it was used in Pokemon Stadium to transfer your Pokemon into the game. And that's cool. You can go back to the Game Boy game, train them and do all that stuff, transfer them into Pokemon Stadium on N64. And I don't have my copy of Pokemon Stadium, but I spotted Doom. So here's Doom. Doom 64, the one that recently released on all consoles, the remake. This will not play in NTSC and 64s. But the reason I have this version is because this is the best version. I think this version isn't as dark. I'm saying I think because I knew there was a reason I bought this version over a North American version. And I think it had something to do with how dark it is on NTSC, on the North American. And I didn't buy the Japanese one because the Japanese one doesn't have blood, or it has like green blood or something strange. But I think I bought this one because it's not as dark. That's one of the problems with this game. The original anyway, that it was really dark. It was hard to see. Mackenzie, N64 expansion pack and Sega Saturn expansion cartridge be like, we're not so different, you and I. True. Although I would say there was more with the expansion pack for Sega Genesis for Sega Saturn, is that it allowed you to play imports. So, but I guess it's kind of similar. I mean, imports, obviously, like I said, for imports on N64, it's just a simple, soldering down, not even soldering, just kind of, what do you call it? Either cutting off the tabs, or I think I used the soldering iron to melt them down. I think that's what I did. I don't recommend that because you could mess it up somehow. So don't do that. But yeah, here's my, like I said, day one N64. And in 1999, I should have got the game too. I remember I was working at a grocery store, and one of my managers got their hands on the Jungle Green N64 with Donkey Kong 64. It was nice because it's a nice yellow cartridge. It really makes it shine. I wish I would have. Actually, I do have it. Hold on a second. Because I just like how it looks in the system. It just really pops with that yellow with the green. The jungle green is what they call it. Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and take the game out, put it in there. All right. So here it is. I remember going into her office in the back, Janet, and being super jelly because she got it from some kind of distributor. And, managers at grocery stores will sometimes get goodies for distribution deals and whatnot. And so she got a free Jungle Green N64. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to let her get this before me, although she did get it before me. But I got it not long after. And I just like how it looks with the cartridge in there. The banana yellow and the jungle green together. It looks just dope. Love this one. This is probably my favorite N64. I like how it goes with the logo. It also nicely goes with the green on the 3D N64 logo. So love this. Just love it. Just takes me back. Right back to 99. And obviously I didn't have to buy a new N64, but yeah, I did. Had to buy it. So there's that. Here is the controller. Actually, this is not the original controller. I bought this recently. And the reason was my original controller did wear out, the thumbstick. And so I think I eventually tossed it. And so I recently bought this to replace it. This is not, as you can see, not Nintendo licensed. This is a third-party one, but it feels and looks just like it. And actually, the thumbstick is different. It's not that rubber band stick. It's a newer stick, a more modern stick. So it won't wear out the same way. So that's cool. And it's cheaper. It's actually cheaper. These are actually cheaper than the original controllers. And they're better functionality over the long term. Like I said, this is better. And it all the buttons feel great. It feels just as good. Maybe even better. I like the C sticks or C buttons better on here than the original. So they really went out and did a great job. Even a D-pad is great. So this is great. Love this. Look how clean it is. It's clean. All right, put that away. And here's one I'm actually working on. I'm going to do a video. You're going to see a video on this very soon. As you can see, the wire's cut. My cat nibbled the crap out of the wire on this. And the, do I have it up here? No. And the thumbstick, which I already replaced here, but you'll see in the video. This is a newer kind of GameCube style thumbstick. So the thumbstick on my purple one is pretty shot. You'll see it in the video. So I'm replacing that, and I'm replacing the cable. Actually, it just came in today. And again, I don't have it up here. But anyway, you'll see it in the video, my full breakdown and assembly of my new Atomic Purple. This is an original Atomic Purple controller. As you can see, kinda. There it is. So you can see Nintendo on there. So this is an original controller. But I'm changing the thumbstick as well as the cord because it was nibbled to crap by my cat. who had a great time doing that. All right, so, and last on the hardware front is the console I just got recently. I actually remembered that I bought this before and forgot about it. I forgot that I bought it before and was like, don't really care for it. And I needed that money. so I ended up selling it again. So I just got it back. And that is the Pikachu N64. And I remember they had so much trouble trying to classify this because they wanted to make it, they wanted to call it a slim, but it's actually bigger. I just remember like magazines kind of being weird how to classify it. As you can see, it's significantly bigger than the original. So, but I just think it's super cool, nice and colorful. Love it, and also love the controller. Here you can see a two-tone blue and yellow, and the controller is the same. This controller is beautiful. The stick on it is great. The expansion pack looks, or the expansion port looks a little rusty. Not rusty, but a little dry. I don't know if you can see it in there. Probably not. No, you won't be able to see it. But anyway, I like that. I like the little logo, Pikachu N64. There's different variations of this. This is the Japanese one. But the North American one, I think, is darker blue. It's more like the blue here on my shirt. You can see the difference. See, it's a lighter. This is the lighter blue. But I like the lighter blue one better, actually. So that also works out. All right. So, games. Second tier. Let me see if I'm caught up on the C4 Platinum. Use that Home Depot Dremel tool. All right. So, I almost forgot. The one thing I wanted to show is a feature that was supposed to be in the N64 with the expansion pack was... Where did I put my expansion pack? Where are you? Oh, right here. All right. So, feature that does remain is with Perfect Dark. This is Perfect Dark for Game Boy, as you can see there, and you can see the reason for the extra size is because there's a battery compartment here. The battery goes in there. AAA battery goes in there, and it's for rumble, so you can feel rumble on your Game Boy. Hold on one second. The wife is calling. I'll be... All right, I'm back. All right, so like I was saying, the expansion pack, or the transfer pack, you can transfer stuff. I can't remember exactly what it was in here. I haven't played it in so long. But you can transfer things over from, I don't know if it's weapons or something, over from your N64 to the Game Boy game and vice versa. But another thing that we never got to have that was fully finished, but we got the PR speak later on saying, oh, we couldn't implement it in time, was the Game Boy camera. So the Game Boy camera would go down in here. You take a picture of yourself using the Game Boy camera, and you could take that photo into Perfect Dark, put it on bots, put it on your character or whatever for multiplayer. Now, you remember, if you remember, Perfect Dark came out in 2000, which was not a year completely, but right after the Columbine incident at the school. And so Nintendo, wisely decided, because they didn't want any backlash from it, because if you can put your think about it, if you can put your face, you take a picture of your face, you can take a picture of all kinds of things, and Nintendo would have no way to regulate that because it wasn't on the internet. It wasn't web based. So you can take not just a picture of yourself, but also not so nice things, and that would be plastered as a face. So they thought against using that idea, although it was a cool idea, but they never put it in. They said it was a technical problem they had, but they later let it out the bag that it was because of the Columbine incident and the sensitivity around it, which made sense. So that didn't happen. So, but it was one of the things I was really looking forward to, and it was a bummer. Real world has to mess up my gaming world sometimes. But anyway, all right. So first off, let's just get this out of the way. Two of my favorite import games. I gotta do it. The flash noise. Two of my favorite import games were the Custom Robo games. There's Custom Robo 1 and Custom Robo V2, or just 2, version 2. And these games never came out in North America for whatever reasons, I don't know. These games are awesome. But they did kind of rectify that with GameCube by giving us Custom Robo for GameCube. And, it's very similar in some ways, but it's a different game. Because I at first thought maybe this was a port from the N64 of version 2, but it's not. I would say it's a better game, but that's not really fair because I don't speak Japanese. But I do like version 2 more than like 1. And so this one is closer to what version 2 is doing, the North American GameCube version. So we did get that. Because I thought that initially because Animal Forest on N64 came out in Japan, and then they ported that same game basically over to GameCube, and they called it Animal Crossing. So it was basically the N64 game, a little bit better visuals, and that's what I thought they did with Custom Robo. I thought maybe they didn't release it in North America, so they decided to put it out on GameCube, but it's not. It's a different game. So that's that. All right, so some standouts. WCW NWO Revenge. This is probably the one I played the most as far as the Aki or AKI wrestling games, which are amazing. They're all really great, and I wish wrestling games today would go back to the grappling system and how this game worked, because this is the best way to play wrestling on a video game console. And so there's a bunch of Aki games, and this is the one I'm using to represent it. It's probably one I played the most because I was heavily into WCW back in the day. Then I'll show Win Back, and this is significant because this is the first cover shooter game I've ever seen. I remember, I think this is the first one that uses cover mechanics. This is it. Before, Gears of War and, all the other games, this is the first game that I remember using cover physics. Now, it's not the best control otherwise outside of the cover physics mechanic, I should say, but it has staked its flag. So there you have it. I have Turok to represent. So Turok 2 and 3, they're both my favorites in the series. As you can see, you can see Property or Blockbuster there. I bought this back in the day from the Blockbuster bin, and I'm proud to have this on here and keep it on here because it's a window in time. It's like this is a time when Blockbuster was around, and they put these little stickers on their games. And I mean, I could take it off, but why? Why would I do that? It would probably ruin the front, and I have to replace it anyway. But I like it. I like having Property or Blockbuster on here. Like I said, window in time. All right. Another standout game is Space Station Silicon Valley. This game was made by one of the Dream Team. If you guys remember N64, they were having issues with a lot of third party, and so they decided to have a Dream Team of third party that included like Acclaim, Midway, and this company. What was their name? Before. Right here is just saying Take-Two Interactive, which became, Rockstar, and Take-Two is still around, obviously. That is the parent company. And so this was the beginning of that studio, and they went later on to publish. Rockstar did Earthworm Jim 3D for N64, which I have it here. You'll see later, and Body Harvest. I believe I have out to show you as well. But yeah, this is where Rockstar began, the makers of Grand Theft Auto. Well, at least one of their beginnings. All right, and here is... Actually, I'll save that one for later. Let's move that away for a second. Here is Sin and Punishment. This game only came out in Japan. That's why I don't have a top label for it, because my top labels that I bought only represent North American releases. And I think this game might be expensive today. I don't know. But this is fantastic. I don't know why they didn't release it in North America. They eventually released it on the Wii Shop, the Wii Virtual Console. If you want to get this game, I don't think you can get it there anymore. Right? Sin and Punishment. Yeah, that's the only way, the Wii Virtual Console. I don't know. It might be on Wii U as well. So you can check there. But love this game. Treasure. There's some of the best in the business. They make the best shooters they did back in the day. And this is dope. I love this game. And this game has English voice acting. I believe English text as well. So I'm not sure. Maybe it was only English text. But I'm not sure why it didn't come here, because it had everything it needed. But I guess it was a late title. Came out in late 2000s, so they just decided they didn't want to import it, even though it would have been very easy. They could have just put the same cart, because it already works in all N64 NTSCs, so I don't know. I'm sure I have Bomberman, but I love Bomberman, so there's Bomberman 64. This was very different. It was a 3D version of the game. I'm trying to read the back. Bought this used in Williamsville. I was probably traveling, just going around to see different places, because I don't remember. I never lived in Williamsville, so I probably traveled there, just going around to different stores and whatnot. Here's the, it's not gonna be able to see. It's all mirrored. See if it'll get in focus. There it is. So New York. That's where I'm from, in case you didn't know. So yeah. But this is not my original copy. That's why, because I wasn't in New York, actually. I was here in Florida. So I picked this up a little later, when I was visiting, probably. All right. Here's a standout game that I always talk about that don't get no respect. But it's on a lot of people's hidden gems for N64, I'm sure. Beetle Adventure Racing. This game is dope, from EA. It's a licensed game. There's only Beetles to drive, different colored ones. This is when they introduced the new Beetle. This is the first iteration of that new Volkswagen Beetle. And so it was kind of a big rollout. And here is a game that probably shouldn't have been good. It's just a licensed product to advertise a new Beetle. But this is a really good playing game. It's arcade style. You can get power-ups. So it's like Mario Kart in a way. Really good graphics and sound and music. Really good game. It shouldn't be good, but it is really good. Here's another property of Blockbuster game. Chameleon Twist 2. I really like these games. A lot of people don't really talk too much about Chameleon Twist, but I like the gameplay mechanic. Pretty cool. And now we have... You know what that is? Can you guys tell what that is? Can you tell from the cover? Because it's different than the North American cover. I'm sure you can tell. It's Smash Brothers. This is Smash 64. I picked this up because I eventually traded my copy, because I probably got something really good for it at the time for it. And so, nobody was really playing, coming over to play Smash 64 with me, so I just was like, I can get a good amount of either store credit or something out of it. So I traded it in, and then when I went back to buy it again, it was pretty expensive. So I bought this because it was probably half the price. I bought this version, and it's really funny because Toad is Panopu or Panopo or something in Japanese, so I just think that's funny. So he's not really Toad. That's a North American thing. But other than that, the game is exactly the same. So, all right, 1080 snowboarding. You guys know what that is. Miyamoto game. I wouldn't put him up. I wouldn't see him making a snowboarding game, but he made a really good one, and I like both of them. I like the GameCube one as well. Avalanche. All right, here's Hybrid Heaven. Pretty good game. I like the fact that it's a turn-based RPG where you can do like wrestling moves on characters. It is kind of a noir, not really cyberpunk, but like a futuristic setting where aliens are taking over and they're using our bodies as skin, body snatcher type stuff. So that's pretty cool. But one of the coolest things is that this game actually started off as a Metal Gear game for N64, and it just kind of morphed into this. They were going to make some kind of like action-based Metal Gear type of game or spin-off game, but it just became Hybrid Heaven, which I think is even better. So I'm not the hugest Metal Gear fan. Here's one of my favorite games on the N64. One of my favorite games all time. Great music, great visuals, cheery mood. Taught me golf, the game of golf, because I did not understand golf before this game. And actually got my son to play this. We played this 2 hours last week, which was heartwarming for me because it's hard for me to get him to play other games outside of freaking Fortnite and Roblox. And especially like, old games that have these old crappy graphics. So we had a great time. He learned it pretty quickly, and he almost beat me. So there you go. I did loosen up on a round or two on him, but he was still very good. Paper Mario. This is the first one. Well, some people consider it a second in this series, Mario RPG. This is kind of what it morphed into. Then it kind of went back with what is it, Mario and Luigi series. The Mario and Luigi series on Game Boy Advance. So, and now we have Origami King today. All right, here's one of my favorite sports games, especially back then. NBA Courtside featuring Kobe Bryant. Love this game. I played the crap out of this game. One of my favorite basketball games in that generation. Is my favorite, not one of them, but is my favorite. And then the sequel was even better. They only made 2 of them for N64, and then there's one for GameCube. Also have that one, but they added like a lot of cool arcade stuff in here, like NBA Jam type of stuff, which made this one really awesome. They made the graphics better and all that kind of stuff. Very good. Here's Mario Kart 64. Like I said, same thing happened with my Mario Kart. Ended up trading in after people stopped playing, multiplayer with me on this. So I thought I'd get something out of it. And then I wanted it back. So again, I bought the Japanese version because it was way cheaper at the time. So same game again, so it doesn't really matter. And I know how to navigate it because I played the crap out of the English version. And that's the same thing that goes for Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. You don't need any English in this game because all the story is portrayed in cutscenes, and it's kind of cartoon cutscenes, so you kind of follow along based on what people are doing. I mean, it's not that deep of a story. It's Kirby anyway, but it's easy to follow even without knowing Japanese, just like all the other games I'm showing here. And here's another standout game that a lot of people talk about, is Mission Impossible. And to me, this game kind of birthed the, what's it called? Agent 47. What is it called? Hitman. This is kind of birthed that to me, because, unlike GoldenEye, which came out at the time, it's like GoldenEye, but it's a third-person game, and you do mission-based stuff, throughout the levels, and you take on other people's personas to get close to people, and Mission Impossible stuff. And this is a very cool game that doesn't get talked about much. And for me, it's one of the standouts on the N64 Fizzle. All right, now we're gonna move on to my case here. I'll put it up here. Hopefully, it doesn't fall. Oh, there it is. There's my memory card, at least one of them. As you can see, I have my Mario sticker on there. For whatever reasons, I wrote N64 in there like I didn't know that this was just in case I didn't remember what kind of memory card this was. So there you go. It's a third-party one. No games in there, maybe. Oh, here we go. So we'll get the games out of here first. See what's in there. All right, so here's the Game Shark. This is pretty cool. Let you hack games. Once you beat a game, this was a new game plus. So once I beat a game, I would use this to just be a god in the game, and so it's even better than New Game Plus in that way because you can do a lot more than you can in New Game Plus, and you can do it in every game, at least every game that released that was out when this was released. So I have version 3.2, which I believe is the latest version. Because there's one version, or versions before this, I think you have issues with it, but mine works great. Here is a special game. This is I wouldn't call it, it's not a repro, but it's a third-party game that came out recently, a couple years ago, 40 Winks. The thing about this game is that it was finished on the N64 back in the day. I think it was 99 it was supposed to come out. And it never released because the company basically went under. And they were in money troubles. And they didn't want to release this game after the kind of mediocre reviews it got on PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1 version came out. I bought that one. But I always wanted the N64 one because I saw it on one of the VHSs that you would get if you're a Nintendo Power subscriber. Nintendo would periodically send out VHSs for video previews of stuff, and it was in the highlight reel. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. I want that game. And then I would read about it. They actually reviewed the game in Nintendo Power, and they gave it a score and everything. So the review copies were out there. This game was almost printed and shipped, but they decided at the last minute not to do it. So this company, Pico Interactive, who specializes in like bringing back games that either didn't release or were partially finished, and they finished them and then released them. They released this, I want to say 2018, late 2018, and I definitely had to get this. So it's kind of a special to me, because I waited 20 years basically to get this game. So very cool, and it's a really good game. I don't know why it got mediocre reviews and why it didn't sell, because it was only on PlayStation. If it had came on N64, it would have probably been a different story. Here's one of my favorite Star Wars games ever, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. This is one of the early games I saw on N64 that blew my mind. They showed the Battle of Hoth, and I was just like, oh my god, that is insane. Look at those graphics, 3D for the first time. Being able to actually fly around and use your tow cable to bring down the AT-STs. It was great, and this game is very cool. It feels like a PC game in a lot of ways, especially when you're on foot. So like a lot of the first-person stuff, a lot of third-person stuff controls better in first-person, which it allows you to do as well. So that's very cool. Love this game to death, and obviously the music is great. MRC, it's a pretty good, racing game. Multi-racing championship. Excite Bike 64, love this game. This is the era of extreme sports, motorbiking and snowboard games and, BMXing and skateboard games like Tony Hawk. And this was the first Excite Bike since the NES one. And Left Field? Yeah, Left Field made this. I miss Left Field because they made this and they made the Kobe Bryant game games as well, and they just made really good games. And they brought back Excite Bike in a great way. It was perfect. Here is my original Nintendo memory card, or memory pack. Is that what they call it? A controller pack. Let's see the controller pack. So this is the original one. Still works great. Still holds my memory, so that's awesome. All right. Let's put these things back in there. Close that. All right, so we're at the best of the best of the best. Obviously, you know what that is. Super Mario 64. This is the Japanese version, but I have this version because it's not just the Japanese version. It is the second release of the Japanese version. If you look down there, come on, come on. Focus. Focus. I'm trying to get this thing to focus. It won't focus. He's trying to focus the background. Come on. There we go. All right. And you see that little wavy symbol? See a little wavy symbol on the edge there? That means rumble. So they redid these in Japan anyway, and they added rumble. So now your rumble pack works. The original ones did not. They did the same thing for Wave Race, as you can see. And this is an awesome way to play Wave Race. I don't want to go back. Come on, focus. You can kind of see it without it being focused, but I'm trying to get it to focus. Why won't you focus, camera? Back and forward. Anyway, has the same little symbol. It just means rumble. So these two had rumble releases, and I had to get these because I wanted to feel the rumble pack in these games. So it's kind of like a special edition version, you know, or a Game of the Year version, you know, back in these days. So it added something that would today, you know, if it didn't have, would have been added, you know, digitally in an update, you know, download or whatever. So I have the original for both of these games, but I've got these because I wanted that rumble pack, and it's just so much better. I can't remember this game without rumble pack now, especially Mario 64. But Wave Race as well. Like, you can feel all the waves, you know? And I think the rumble in N64 was really good. The motor was really good at kind of giving you different levels. It wasn't just a shake, you know? It would kind of shake a little bit, give you little shakes. It was almost HD rumble for its time. So, and I think the rumble pack is better than any other rumble we've gotten up until, like, you know, last generation. You could say with the rumble bumpers on the Xbox One controller, and obviously HD rumble in the Switch, so, and the Joy-Cons. So that's the one thing they missed with rumble in later game or later systems, that they realized, hey, don't just make it shake, but make it kind of where it's a feeling. It, you know, it has a different feel, and it was great at that. So, like I said, here's Body Harvest, another early Rockstar game. What was their name? Is it on here? So this is for Midway, which was another one of the Dream teams. They published it, but Take-Two, whatever they were called back then, as the actual developer. So there was that, and this game went through development hell. So to have it actually come out was a big thing. All right, see, Mackenzie, if you want an awesome third-person shooter on N64, check out Operation Winback. Operation Winback. Yeah, I showed that, Mackenzie. Oh, crap. Oh, it's spilling all over the place. I shouldn't have done that. All right. Were you asleep, Mackenzie? Covert Operations Winback. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, I have that. I showed it because it's like the first, basically the first, what do you call it? Cover shooter game that I remember playing. So I think it is the first cover shooter that we've ever had. And they made a version for PlayStation as well. PlayStation 2 came out. A port is basically a port of the game. A little bit better visuals, but that's it. All right, and here is one of my all-time favorite games of all times, not just N64, but all times. Mischief Maker, again by Treasure. I freaking love this game. It is stinking cute as hell. Marina, the main character, Marina. That's her on the front. It's very much like a kind of a Mega Man style, like visual style, and somewhat story in a way because she's created by this doctor, who I can't remember his name right now, but he created this robot, Marina. And this is one of the games that use the D-pad because there's like a boost thing you can do. Very much like Mega Man's implemented. I don't know who did it first. I think this game did it first. I think Mega Man X, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. There's so many out there. But that what's that game? I'm trying to remember it, but I can't. They came out. They got kickstarted by your boy from Mega Man. It also used that kind of boost thing. But anyway, beautiful music. Beautiful, beautiful music. Great gameplay. Just fun as hell. Art design, everything. I love this game to freaking death. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I wish we can get a sequel or something related to this game. They started to Kickstarter this for something. I would totally be down. I would totally be on that. I don't Kickstarter anything, but this is one of the games. Well, a couple of games, but this is one of the games I definitely would. Ukulele was another one I was super excited for. So, speaking of ukulele, here is Jet Force Gemini, one of my favorite games on the N64. I wish would come back. This game, so good. Clocked It mentioned that this is the best soundtrack you'll find on the N64, and I wholeheartedly agree. Great soundtrack, really fun gameplay. You play as 3 different characters. You play as Juno, Vela, and Lupus the dog. So it's 2 twins, Juno and Vela. They're part of a team called Jet Force Gemini, and they have to save the galaxy from Mizzah and his minions. And it's really cool. You shoot these bugs, and their bodies fly apart. Stuff you don't even see in games today. I mean, their bodies fly in different, parts, and then there's green blood splatter everywhere. Their heads fly off. The sound design is amazing in this game. Because when their bodies fly off and their heads fly, you can hear it bounce on the ground. It's great. Like I said, fantastic soundtrack, beautiful visuals. Rare, they always push the N64. This game did have slowdown in some areas when you're using like plasma bombs and stuff like that. But the graphical effects are so good, so cool. Very good, awesome game. And one of my favorites of all time. Will remain that. And speaking of Rare, obviously, what do I have to say about GoldenEye 007? Nothing. It's amazing, great game. I freaking maxed this game out, got everything unlocked. It's phenomenal. Another Rare game, Blast Corps. One of the early games, really fun in its own genre. Killer Instinct Gold. Classic. Speaking of classics, Pokemon Snap. We're getting a new Pokemon Snap probably this year. I don't know. But at some point on Switch, new Pokemon Snap. Hopefully they use the VR. As you saw my VR headset review, I would love to use that for that game. Majora's Mask. And I love this Kart because it's not just sprayed on gold. It's actually like made of like gold material, gold plastic, so it doesn't wipe, and it doesn't like the original Ocarina of Time cartridge, as I have here. I actually ordered a new label to replace my label. As you can see, it's fading off. I played this game so stinking much. I still do. The cart is not, you can see kind of certain areas where it gets a little lighter and scratches and stuff. But this game, those are rubs. I can rub those. Looks like scratches, but they're not. The material for this gold card is better. And like I said, I ordered a new label because you can do that. You can order new labels to to fix your old games, and it's the same label. And so I'm going to put that on when it comes in. Obviously, those are two of my favorite Zelda games of all time. Resident Evil 2. I mean, this port is the impossible port. Somebody did a video on it recently. Who was it? I want to say it was NVG, Modern Vintage Gamer, but I'm not sure. Fantastic video on it, explaining how this game was super compressed, but yet it still looks really good. It has every cutscene in it that the original PlayStation has. So this is the first time that's happened. So if you really put in some work, you could make it happen. So I feel like if a game like this, maybe not Final Fantasy VII, but there were some games that the N64 didn't get that it probably could have got with all the cutscenes and stuff that you got. One game being, I just showed it. Where is it? 40 Winks. 40 Winks has in-game cutscenes on the N64 version. So it has them all, but it's all in-game. And then on the PlayStation version, they're CGI cutscenes. So I like the in-game better, but you know, that's a personal taste or whatever. Here's World Driver Championship. This is the not GTA, the Gran Turismo of N64. It didn't have as many cars, but this is the equivalent, on the N64's level as far as what it could do with the cartridge medium. But I really like this game. Very underrated. I don't think anybody talks about it. What else we got here? Here's Duke Nukem, which we just got. Duke Nukem 3D on the eShop. But this is a, what is it called? This is a cut content. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? When they censor. This is a censored version of Duke Nukem 3D for N64. You know, stuff like with the girls you find and the strippers and all kinds of stuff that's kind of been cut down or changed in a way on this version. I also have 0 Hour, which is pretty good. One of my favorite 3D fighting games on the N64, Fighter's Destiny. This game doesn't get enough love. It is fantastic. The gameplay style of it, the point system, all that is great. The fighting is really technical, and I love that. And I love this game. I wish more people knew about it. It is great. Everybody knows about this one, Conker's Bad Fur Day. While I would say, this is the version that doesn't have any censoring, the Microsoft Xbox original version isn't that bad, and visually, I almost dropped it. Visually, it's stunning. That version, it is ground up, redone for the original Xbox, and it looks great. I think I'm going to stream that version at some point. Everybody knows Diddy Kong Racing. I mean, come on, Diddy Kong Racing. No, I don't have Clay Fighters, Harui. Was never. I mean, I rented it from Blockbuster. It was probably the one that was a Blockbuster exclusive, but I was never into Clay Fighters. Going back to even Super Nintendo, those games never held me long. So, Chills Manolo Music says, "I hated Fighter's Destiny." How could you hate Fighter's Destiny? It is a great 3D fighting game. Are you kidding? It's the best one as far as I'm concerned on the N64, and that may be not saying a lot. Because they didn't have a lot of great ones there, but I thought it was just as good as, let's say, what will be the equivalent? Street Fighter. What's the 3D one? Not Street Fighter Zero. What? No. What is it called? Street Fighter EX. Street Fighter EX. I think Fighter's Destiny is just as good as that. Obviously, it doesn't have the Street Fighter name, but I still love Fighter's Destiny. And Fighter's Destiny 2, which I don't have here, but I do have. And here's another one of my favorite games of all time, made by Rare, Banjo-Kazooie. Rare and Nintendo 64. Without Rare on an N64, it would have been a way less. It wouldn't have been my favorite console of all time, and it would have been like way less impactful without Rare's contributions. They were at their height, their peak on the N64, and I hope Playtonic can do well. I'm not sure how well the Playtonic games have done, like Yooka-Laylee and The Impossible Door, or what is it called? Yooka-Laylee and The Impossible Lair. I hope they've done well with those games sales wise, because I want to see, because Yooka-Laylee is basically the Banjo-Kazooie. Their homage to Banjo-Kazooie. I want to see them do an homage to Jet Force Gemini, or even Perfect Dark. I know they're different teams. It's not all Rare teams that work on every game, but I would like to see at least Jet Force Gemini. So I had Gasp and War Gods. Oh yeah, War Gods I don't have here because I don't think it's one of the best games on there, but I have War Gods. What's up, aka Slayer? Did you play Gauntlet Legends? I played Gauntlet Legends on GameCube, so that's where I have it. I think I rented it on N64 because I remember playing it on N64, but I ended up buying it on GameCube, so that's where I bought it. But yeah, I like Gauntlet Legends. It's great multiplayer action, co-op. It's great. And that's pretty much it, right? Let's again a couple of gems. Pull those out. I have it here. Okay, so Shadow Man, which is based on the comic. Is it Dark Horse? It's somebody. Really good game. But I would probably tell you to go for the Dreamcast version. I don't think it's expensive or anything if you're going to get this game, but because it has the better visuals. But I don't know. I like the N64 version. I'm an N64 head, so I love it. But Shadow Man is dope. Third-person action game where you're basically a superhero ghoul. You use these voodoo powers and you become Shadow Man. And you could, go through the different worlds, the world of the living and the world of the dead. Dope game. And here's a really underrated, I think, 3D platforming game, Glover. And there's a lot of platforming and a lot of physics-based stuff because you play as a glove, but you have to roll around that little ball there he's standing on that works as the O in Glover. And you use it to attack enemies, to do higher jumps across platforming, to solve puzzles and stuff. This is a really good game, and I think they were working on a sequel, but I think the company went under or something. So the game sold pretty decent. It sold well enough for them to make a sequel. I believe it's on PlayStation as well, but the sequel never came, unfortunately. But this is a really good game that not a lot of people talk about when they talk about N64. So that is the proverbial that. That's that for my N64 stuff. I don't think I have anything else, but yeah, N64, man, it's my favorite game system of all time. Part of it's nostalgia, kind of where I was as a gamer, and my age and my ability to buy my own games and stuff. And like I said, I was working for the first time in my life, so I could buy my own stuff, and it's just a cool time. It was that grocery store that I worked at is where I first met DMX. Yeah, the rapper DMX. He came in, and I didn't believe it was him. This is around the time that this was in '99. Around the time that I remember this because, well, first of all, it's DMX. I'm not going to forget meeting a famous rapper, and a really good one at that. Around the time I remember it because she kept it in her office. like I said, boxed in her office, and we had way more access to the back office than we probably should have as just regular employees. But one of the things we would do is, we had VHS's, recording system. So it would record, for security purposes. And it was like these VHS tapes. I don't know if it was exactly VHS. I had to be VHS because this wouldn't work for my story. So I remember because DMX came in. This was during the 99 Summer Jam. This is back when they used to do Summer Jams. I don't know if they do them anymore, but every year back in the day, hip hop and R&B had this thing called the Summer Jam. And so it wasn't it had to be in Tampa because this is where I was. So this guy comes in the store, and I kind of see him at the corner of my eye. So I kind of see his build and what he looks like. He's a bald dude, and he walks by or whatever. He's like, he goes down my aisle. My aisle that I worked in at the time was condiments, and we had a weird setup. It was like condiments, but also I had like sardines and kind of canned meats or whatever. And so I walk off my aisle because I was like over there straightening or whatever. And this dude comes by. I didn't really look at him perfectly, but I kind of saw what he looked like. So I go up to the front. My girlfriend at the time, she was a cashier. And I was like, did you see this dude trying to be DMX walked in? And everybody was like, that is DMX. And so we booked it over to the aisle. It was my aisle. I was already working there. But everybody else kind of came over and kind of peeking around the aisle because they didn't want to be all up in his business to freak him out. So they looked down the aisle or whatever. And he was over there. I mean, he was DMX rapper at the time. He was high off his mind, and so he was over there like peeling open the sardine cans. Dude was so zooted out of his mind that he couldn't read. And so I walk up to him, I wasn't, gonna give him crap. He was DMX. His bodyguards were also in there. So they were at the end of the aisle, standing at the end of the aisle. One of them was with him, and the other one had walked off to the dog food aisle because, DMX loved his dogs. So he went off to the dog food aisle and got like a couple of big bags of dog food. And he's just sitting there doing this. And he looks at me, because I'm looking at him like, what are you doing? You're damaging our product, dude. And he's like, yo. He talks exactly how, I'm sure you've seen him in interviews, but at the time, people didn't really, see him that much. He was a big, star. He's like, yo, I'm trying to get the sardines with the oils in them. Can I get the sardines with the oils? Which one of those? And so I gave him to him because he just couldn't read sardine with oil in it. He was that hot. So I gave it to him. And it was funny because it was Thursday, and Thursday was payday. We got paid, I want to say we got paid weekly. One of the few jobs at the time, probably to this day, that got paid weekly. Maybe they do, I don't know. But so everybody had already cashed their checks, so they had, money in their pocket. But for some reason, nobody thought to get paper. I mean, we're working at cash registers. All the registers have receipt paper on them, and nobody thought to get paper. But so people were pulling out their fresh $20 bills, knowing they had to spend that, knowing there's no way they're going to keep a $20 bill because we're all poor, broke, and we needed to spend our money. But he was signing them. And my girl at the time, she got a hug from him, and she, went crazy because he went through her line. He had to go through her line. She was like one of two cashiers that were open at the time. So the odds were 50-50. And so he hugged her, and, they left, and everybody's, oh my God, I can't believe DMX came in here. Our little store, it wasn't like we're some big chain or anything, and so, coming back to the N64, I remember that because everybody had the mindset of, well, I'm going to go take that tape, to prove that DMX was in here. Because, all the cameras caught him walking around our store. And, you can clearly see it was him. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get that tape. No. Somebody else got to that tape. Even the manager didn't know where the freaking tape was. with DMX on it. Somebody else went in back there and popped that tape out and took it home. They're probably still enjoying it to this day to have that story. But so that was my cool little DMX N64 story, if you will. So, where are we? Let's back up and see what you guys are saying here. Inglourious Basterds Yetadi? I'm missing something there. Is that a typo? Chills Manolo. I love Force Gemini. Force Gemini is dope. That's the greatness. And Perfect Dark, he says. Matt Jazz. What about Bomberman Hero? I have Bomberman Hero as well. I just didn't pull it out. It's in my huge stack of games over here. I was just trying to show. But if you go watch my my N64 collection, you'll see Bomberman Hero there. Let's see. I got friends on the other side, says Inglourious Basterds. AKA the Slayer. Glover is very underrated. Yes. A fellow Glover or not fanatic, but at least fan. That's good to hear. Harui and Bomberman 64. N64 was my favorite console. It's why I love Pokemon, says Harui. Yeah, I see a lot of like younger, like say 20s to late 20 YouTubers who love N64, and they all have Pokemon stadiums and Hey You Pikachus and Pokemon Puzzle League and all that stuff on their N64. And so they were really into that, and Pokemon Snap, obviously. So, say you gave it to X, says Inglourious Basterds. Yeah. So, yeah, cool story there. All right. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back with Switch talk, like Mario collection and rumors, I guess. So hang in. All right, we're back. All right, so what do we talk about first? Rumors or... Let me get my rumors out here. Or, hold on. Mario remasters. All right. The classic controllers from Ori. Huh? Random comments. I don't know what you're meaning there. Classic controllers from Ori. But I know, speaking of the Ori N64 controllers, they're like stupidly expensive. But there's a third-party company that makes controllers that look like those Ori controllers that only have the 2 prongs, and they're smaller, and they're way cheaper. They're like, $22 or whatever. So I would go with those, and they have all the different colors, the see-through colors on N64, and they're way cheaper. Yeah, you want the Ori name, I guess, but Ori's not a big company to me. Like, it's not a company that I look to. But they obviously made fantastic stuff, third-party stuff. So, yeah. Let's see. So apparently, there are rumors about Prince of Persia. Supposedly an Ubisoft leak. I didn't really look too much into it. I just kind of saw some headlines. Nobody cares about spoilers anymore. They just put it right in the headline. I mean, I don't care anyway because, it's Prince of Persia. Oh, great. So it's basically going to be, if it is true, which it probably is. I mean, that's not a bad idea. That's probably one I would pick up as far as ports go. Do I have it on PS3? I don't know. Yeah, Harui. Well, some Mario themed controllers they're not leaked. I don't think it's a leak. They're set to come out in early September. I mean, that could mean that the Mario games are coming, but it could just be a coincidence. It could just be, we're celebrating the 35th anniversary of Mario. It could just be that. It doesn't mean it has to coincide with the game, because controllers come out. I'm thinking of, this is way back, but I'm thinking of the 10th anniversary? Yeah, 10th anniversary of Street Fighter. I have it, the 10th anniversary Street Fighter controller that came out on PlayStation 1. No new game came out with it. Not even like a compilation came out with it. It just had a controller. There were Street Fighter games on PlayStation, so but like the Mario collection, if anything, is going to be a collection. You know what would be funny and would be not too crazy to me? Would be if Nintendo just released Super Mario All-Stars again. Because, yeah, the Super Mario games are on the service, the online service, but not the All-Star versions. So Nintendo could just re-release All-Stars again like they released it on Wii. And I wouldn't put it past them to do that. But more and more I'm starting to think it's not going to be remasters. It's actually just going to be compilation. So let's say you get Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy on the compilation. I don't think you're getting 3D World thrown in there. I don't see it. Nintendo wants to make $60 off that game. So you'll probably get, maybe you'll get Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Maybe. But it won't go further than that as far as the compilation goes. And so that also leaves in the idea that they won't get remastered, so they won't get reworked. So I wouldn't buy them. I'm not buying them at that point. But I'm sure a lot of people will. Because I still can play those games fine. I want new things done to them, not just to put them all together on one disc so you can play it on Switch. So what? I want fixes, especially for, oh my gosh, I'm all tangled up here, especially for Sunshine. So if that doesn't happen, there's no buy for me. And there's going to be no buy for me as far as 3D World goes, because, again, it doesn't make sense for me to buy that. Maybe they'll throw Captain Toad in it. Yeah, man. It'll be 3D World, $60. I doubt there's anything they've done to it or going to do to it. I mean, it's basically a perfect game anyway. So, and there's no DLC for it. So I don't think they've done anything to it or will add anything to it. So, let's see what you guys are saying. I heard it was the trilogy of, what trilogy? What did you hear was the trilogy, Harui? Would you be mad if they did release all their new first party games on their new console. It's about to be 2021. I can't see Metroid being out before 2022. Says Justin Bozeman. Would I be mad if they released all their first party games from all their systems? Or what do you mean? Because I don't think they're going to do that. Let's see. Harui says Prince of Persia, I think, was a trilogy that just got leaked. Yeah, I already said that. And they already made a Prince of Persia trilogy, HD trilogy on PlayStation 3. And that was a long time ago. So I'm guessing, if anything, it'll just be that. It'll just be that ported over to Switch. It probably will come out for everything. But I could see that being the thing. I would probably get that. I'm not sure if I have that on PS3 or not. And I only really played. I played them all, but I only beat Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. So that has value for me, and value for most people. Again, that is a GameCube era game. So to me, it's fine to go back to that era and HD it up. Don't just bring over, the SD game, HD it up, and it's already been HD'd, like I said, on PS3. I don't know if Xbox. I don't think Xbox got it. I could be wrong, but the trilogy is on PS3, so that's not a big deal. Harui says, I didn't know it already exists. Actually, hold on a second. I'm going to check and see if I have it. Give me... All right, so surprisingly, I don't have it, but it is in my Amazon queue, so that's why I remember it, because I was gonna buy it and I haven't bought it. So if it's true, it's even better because I won't be double dipping. So yeah, it is a thing. Harui, in case you didn't know. Yeah, Prince of Persia trilogy HD. That came out in like 2008, 2009 or something on PlayStation 3. So yeah. Kahuna, how do you say your last? Yeah, I always say Cliver. I think I know I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, Kahuna, how you feel about Skyward Sword Remake? Sorry I'm late. Been studying for a driver's test. Oh no, that's way more important than watching my little stream here. Good luck, by the way. I remember how that felt. How would I feel about Skyward Sword? I guess I'm fine with it. For me, I just don't know how they're gonna make it work. I mean, they could take out the motion stuff, which they probably have to do, because you want to be able to play portable on the Switch. So they would take it out. I can think of ways that you can implement, but that would really break down one of the biggest mechanics in the game. But there's ways to get around, to have it slice a certain way. You can implement certain buttons, use certain button combinations to make that work, and it would work fine. But for me, Skyward Sword was about the Wii Motion Plus, so I don't know how they make that. Joy-Cons can't do what the Wii Motion Plus can. I know a lot of people think they can, but they're not that one-to-one motion. They have gyro in them, but they can't do what Wii Motion Plus did. So I don't know. just visually updating it, I probably wouldn't care for it, but I'm fine with it. You know, like to have an HD version of that game. It's a pretty game on Wii, and it'll just be prettier now, and more people will get a chance to play it. Get to see traditional Zelda, you know, the old traditional Zelda. So I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem if it's $60, and it probably will be. But it is what it is. See, again, a game like what is it called? Oh my gosh, I can't even think. Oh my gosh, the remastered Zelda on Switch. What is it called? The Game Boy one. Link's Awakening. So like Link's Awakening was a ground up remake. It had kind of the same, in a way, camera, but that was pretty much it. Like it's a ground up remake. It doesn't have the static, blocks you smoothly go or walk around the world. The visual style is very striking. I think it's gorgeous, and so for me that's different. Skyward Sword, it would just be an HD Reza for the most part. So it wouldn't be. I don't know, because it's like I was fine with that when it came to Wind Waker, and it was $60, right? I want to say Wind Waker was $50 though. I don't think it was $60, but I can't really have a problem with it. It's just what Nintendo does. So not a problem, I guess. How rudimentary was the Wii controls for Twilight Princess? Yeah, like the Wii controls for Twilight Princess were just waggle swipe controls. You basically just went and your sword just went whatever. But for Skyward Sword, it moved with you. Like it moved forward, it tilted forward and back, left and right. Up. It had full motion, it completely mimicked what the position that you had for the controller, for the Wii remote. So it was 1-to-1. So it was like you were standing you're standing holding Link's hand, holding the sword. So it was different. It's not just waggle like it was on. Now I like the aiming and stuff in Twilight Princess. That was cool, and I didn't mind the sword slashing, but it didn't make you feel like you were actually slashing the sword. It was just like a quick prompt. It was a motion prompt you were doing. It wasn't like a 1-to-1 thing, which is fine because it was a GameCube game, and they threw that in for the Wii version. So they weren't going to go back in and do all that to make it, 1-to-1. Because even the original Wii remote wasn't 1-to-1. It pointed. It's more like what the original Wii remote is. More like what the Joy-Con is. It's a good pointer. It'll point at stuff, but it didn't really exist. The Wii Motion Plus actually existed in a 3D space, so it would feel every movement, not just kind of left to right and following a dot around on the screen. So it was very different. So let's see. I'm sure Oracle series is a legal issue to remake because of Capcom. I don't know. I don't think so. It's it's Nintendo's game. If they wanted to remake it, they totally could remake it because they basically own everything in that game. They own the franchise, but it wasn't like Capcom put in Street Fighter characters. It's still a Zelda game, and I'm sure the deal was everything that you guys put in this game is now ours. I'm sure Capcom was fine with that. They were probably over the moon to work on a Zelda game, so I don't think that's a problem. So yeah, I don't think, I could be wrong, that they're not going to remaster these, I'm trying to say, excuse me, they're not going to remaster the Mario games. It'll just be a compilation, which, it's fine, because it is just a 35th anniversary thing, and they're gonna put out 3D World at some point, but they're gonna put out 3D World at some point. So, you know, I don't see them remastering Mario 64 Sunshine. Galaxy, I think Galaxy might be. It won't be a remaster, but it will be an HD version. I think because they already have an HD version of that game. It only came out in China, but they made it for the Nvidia Shield in China. If you bought the Nvidia Shield, that was the deal with Nvidia. Who makes the chip for the Switch? Is it Nvidia? I think it is. So that was the deal between Nintendo and Nvidia, I believe. They got to use those Nintendo IPs to sell their their tablets in China. So there's already HD versions of, I don't know if Galaxy 2 is on there, but Galaxy 1 certainly, and it wouldn't be a big deal to make Galaxy 2. They just use the same engine or the same up-resing tactic they used on Galaxy 1. So I could see Galaxy 1 being HD, or Galaxy 1 and 2 if they both come. But I'm not sure Sunshine and Mario 64 will be. And if they are, they'll just be an HD up. They won't be like they go in and actually change the gameplay and mechanics and stuff. So Kahuna says, yeah, it's Nvidia. I don't know why I forgot that for a second, but yeah. So it won't be. It'll be something to see. You know, they're gonna do something because they actually care about the 30 or the 25th or the 15th or the 35th. Nintendo does celebrate that. They don't celebrate the 10s for some reason, which to me is kind of bigger. Like the 30th anniversary, but they'll celebrate the 35th. They won't celebrate the 40th, but they'll probably celebrate the 45th. So 10 years from now, oh my god, I don't even want to think about that. So yeah, I mean that's just gonna be a thing. So Nintendo does tend to ignore the portable Zelda lineage. Well, up until recently. Actually, I would even go back to, well, no, because that's more of the Super Nintendo. It's kind of part 2 to A Link to the Past. A Link Between Worlds was, but it's a portable. You know, they put their heart and soul into that game. It's a great game. A Link Between Worlds, and the world is based on A Link to the Past. It's kind of a sequel to that. So, and obviously we got Link's Awakening recently. So, you know, I mean, other than like, I don't see the DS ones coming unless they completely change the touchscreen abilities of it, like Phantom Hourglass and Fish Spirit Tracks. So those probably won't get. If they do get remastered, it'll probably be, you know, they'll just make them traditional. And that'll kind of take away again from the gameplay. So that's what I'm worried about when it comes to Skyward Sword, because there's like little puzzle things. I mean, you can, you know, well, no, the puzzle stuff you could still do. You could do with traditional controller with an analog stick, but you can also do with the motion controls. I think that would work really well. Gyro controls, doing those puzzles. You guys who play the game know what I'm talking about, where you have to put in a piece and kind of turn the lock or whatever. So, original or DS for Mario 64 Remaster. I would hope they would do DS, but then that would be a full-on remaster. I mean, that's what I would want. I would actually want them to do the DS version of Mario 64, because a lot of people, you know, haven't played that version, and so not only would it just be a better looking version of Mario 64, but it would also have more to do, more stars, more gameplay, more characters to play as. It was pretty cool to be able to play as all those characters. Wario and Yoshi, you know, Wario was nowhere in the game. Yoshi was just like a bonus after you got 120 stars, and he jumped away. He disappeared. So he wasn't part of the game. Luigi was originally meant to be in the game, but now he's in the 64 DS version. So that would be the version I would want them to remaster. I hope they would, because technically they added DLC basically to Mario 64, and so that would be stuff I would want in the remake, and I hope they would do it. So Breath of the Wild was originally launching on 2016, so technically the 30th was originally planned. Huh? But they didn't really celebrate the 30th. They celebrated the 25th, because that's when Robin Williams, rest in peace, and his daughter Zelda did those series of commercials for the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time. So they celebrated 25th, and they had like a special edition 3DS to celebrate Zelda that year. But I don't remember anything for the 30th. But obviously, we're most likely getting Breath of the Wild 2 for the 35th anniversary of Zelda, so that's cool. Kahuna says, "Heck yes, DS version. Play as Yoshi and Wario." Yeah, that's great. I mean, you gotta have that one. You gotta have that version with the visual, with HD visuals, because visually that didn't look as good as Mario 64. I always say that Mario 64 DS was like the PlayStation version of Mario 64 with more stuff. So visually, it looked like the PlayStation version of it would look, but it had cool stuff. It had more characters and more things to do and find. So that's the version I would want. Nobody really talked about that. That was a good question, Kahuna, because nobody really says that's the version they would want. But yeah, that's the version I want. Where were we? They celebrate the 31st anniversary with Breath of the Wild and the deal. Nobody celebrates a 35th anniversary. That might have been a thing you got on the 31st year of Zelda, but no one said, "Oh, this is the 31st anniversary. We're celebrating it with this." That never happened, which is fine. This is just the way Nintendo does it. They do the fifths. They do the 35th, 25th, 15th, stuff like that. So, let's see. Did I miss something? No. So yeah, that's what I would want to see for the. I feel like there was another rumor. But the rumor doesn't mean anything's confirmed. But stuff like the controllers could mean we're probably going to get a direct soon. And it's going to be based around Mario's 35th. And my hope is that let's show the remasters, hopefully, but the compilation Kart, if you will, if that's what it is. Let's see that. Let's see. 3D World is coming. They'll probably talk about that. But I want to see, at the end of this direct about Mario's 35th, I want to see Odyssey 2. Because then I won't have to complain that they're only doing compilations and remasters and only talking about that and not showing us a glimpse or a hint at Mario Odyssey 2. That is my hope. Some people want Galaxy 3. I don't think they're going to go back. So, let's see. Reading something there. So we'll see. Let's see. Harui says the Amiibo were released for the 30th. Do you have something that says 30th anniversary of Zelda? Because that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying, oh, they did something Zelda related in its 30th year. I want to see something that says Zelda's 30th anniversary. Because I have 25th. I have stuff that shows 25th anniversary. They care about it. Was that the year? No. Let's say that was the year of. Oh my God! It was 10 So yeah, 2011 was the 25th anniversary. Oh my goodness. So 2021 will be the 35th. So 2011 is when the Robin Williams and Zelda Williams commercials were out for 3DS and Ocarina of Time 3D. Yeah, so you can say, you know, oh, on the 30th year they had the Zelda related thing. What I want to see, like, something that says Zelda 30th anniversary or 31st would be super weird. And if you don't produce that, then that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they were celebrating an anniversary. It just happened to happen. Because they certainly don't care about a 31st anniversary. That's really weird. Nobody cares about anything one verse anniversary. So either 0 or 5, 30th or 35th, 20th or 25th, that kind of stuff. Next year, Odyssey 2. I want Odyssey 2 this year, but next year will be fun. Because Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild came out the same year. So that would make sense. That would be a nice push in 2021 if that happened. I have a Triforce Amiibo Link and Twilight Princess HD Wolf Link. Yeah, me too. I have that too, but it doesn't say Zelda 30th anniversary on it. Does it? Let me look, because I don't remember it. Hold on. No, I don't see any anniversary insignia on any of that stuff. So, I mean, you know, in your mind, you could say this is a celebration of it, but one thing that bothers me about Mario's 35th, and I get Mario launched with NES in September of '85. And it was, you know, it was only in New York, basically, until '86. But I wanted something that would be celebrating. Can you speak? That would be celebrating Mario all year. This is his 35th year, you know. Why, you know, start doing things, you know, at the end of the year? Because Luigi didn't even have a birthday or, you know, an anniversary thing. And we got the year of Luigi. And so there were games that were highlighted with Luigi in them throughout the year. And it was the year of Luigi. So why didn't the celebration for Mario go all year? And you've had a Mario related game already that came out called Paper Mario Origami King. So why couldn't that be the start? When did New Super Mario Brothers U come out? Was it last year? I can't remember. New Super Mario Brothers U for Switch, which is so weird. Because if it was this year, I can't remember. For some reason, I blocked that game out of my mind for the Switch. You could have started with that, you know, and made this a year of Mario and Luigi, because it's both their games. It's Super Mario Brothers is the anniversary, because Mario technically came out in '82 on Donkey Kong. So, if you want to be technical about it, so this is a Mario and Luigi. So if you want to talk about Mario and Luigi, Super Mario Brothers, this is their 35th anniversary. So I don't know when. Again, I don't remember when Super Mario Brothers New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe came out. I think it was last year, but I'm not sure. Somebody let me know. Because that could have been your kickoff for Mario's anniversary instead of just starting something in September because that's when Mario came out in September of '85. I don't know. I think it's kind of lame. Again, after having a whole year of Luigi, we should have a whole year celebrating Mario some way. So, if 3D World was going to come out, that should have came out earlier in the year and kind of spread out this stuff throughout the year to celebrate Mario's 35th. I have a trifle already. Farui says Super Mario 3D World. What are you asking me there? What is that about? 2019, I think it was 2020 Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Okay, so Tokyo Mirage Sessions was early this year. They should have flipped those. Tokyo Mirage should have been yet last year, and Mario should have been this year. If you care enough, if you want to go with that theme of Mario's anniversary, that's how I would have done it. So, let's see. Honestly, they should make a 3D Land, 3D World game for next year. A third 3D Land, 3D World game. Oh, I don't know. Odyssey worked really well. It's one of their highest selling 3D Marios of all time. It would be way easier for them to just use that engine again and do a sequel to that. Very well received, very well loved game. Because at this point, I'd rather have another Odyssey. But who knows what Nintendo's going to do? Nintendo does what they're going to do, and they just do it. So I don't know. But yeah, who knows? Let's see. Somebody said something about Metroid, I thought. Did I miss that? Kahuna, have you tried out Raji, the indie game? It was announced and released on Switch. If not, try it. Yeah, I was gonna get it, but then I learned it was 30 frames, and the Steam version is gonna be 60, obviously, because it's PC. So for me, I would want that kind of game to be 60. So if I get it, it'll probably be Steam. We'll see. But yeah, it looks cool. A lot of people are talking highly of it, and I liked it because it looked kind of like Prince of Persia, which is funny because we're talking about Prince of Persia rumors. So we'll see. Poor Metroid, says Harui. When is Metroid's 35th? Metroid's 35th is 2022. So maybe that's when Prime 4 comes out, because Metroid is 87, Zelda's 86, and Mario's 85. So it's funny that it works out that way. So I don't see anything earlier than 2022 for Metroid, so that would actually be perfect that game came out on Metroid's 35th anniversary. And they should do stuff for Metroid, because that's a game series that really needs attention and love. It is a great series, and it doesn't sell well, and Nintendo needs to put more emphasis on it. So they need to release, Super Metroid. Well, we already have Super Metroid on the eShop. So Prime Trilogy, if it ever coming, needs to come, I would say early in the year, like really early, like February or March 2020 or 2022, and then throughout the year celebrate Metroid in some way, because you can play Metroid and Super Metroid, I believe, on the Nintendo Online shop, or not shop, but the Nintendo Online service. And maybe they should think about porting Samus Returns on Switch, which I think that game, talking about games that need a second chance, it's games like that. Not games that sold millions of copies on a system that didn't do well, but the game sold well. Games like Prime need more. I mean, even Prime One, which sold pretty well on GameCube, didn't meet their expectations. They expected more from it. So Samus Returns was great, and so was the Samus themed new 3DS XL, says Harui. I don't remember the 3DS looked like. Kona, see, I was saying the same thing about Metroid. It should be as big and selling like Mario and Zelda. It really need Nintendo and the fans' attention. Yeah, I don't know if it'll sell like Mario. I don't know if it'll sell like Zelda, but I think it should be at least right up under Zelda. So let's say Zelda Breath of the Wild sold 18 million copies so far, and it'll end up selling more than that, probably more than 20 million. Metroid needs to sell. I feel Metroid should sell at least 5 million copies to 10 million copies. It's not a pick up and play game for a lot of people, so it doesn't have that kind of feel. Again, even Zelda hasn't had that kind of feel. Zelda has its fans for sure, and there's millions of them. But Breath of the Wild even broke through that group because of its open air nature, its freeness. So, gamers who probably never played Zelda before, there's a lot of them that bought Breath of the Wild because of its freedom. So, oh yeah, the Future or Fusion and Zero Mission, those are perfect. Harui, I don't know why I forgot about those. I actually just rebought those for Game Boy Advance. Yeah, those are both fantastic Zelda games. Zero Mission is a remaster, basically, of the first Metroid game. It is the way to play it. You can still play Metroid NES fine, but Zero Mission does quality of life stuff that you didn't get in the original one. When you get lost and don't know what to do and you're kind of confused, Zero Mission gives you Super Metroid, maps and stuff like that. So it's way easier to follow now, where the original Metroid isn't, and visually obviously it looks better too. So yeah, Zero Mission and Fusion is gorgeous. It's great. I love Fusion. So yeah, those would be great. Also, those would be perfect 2D Metroids to bring to Switch. They're both Game Boy Advance games. So unless there's a Game Boy Advance, unless Game Boy Advance is added to Switch Online, which hopefully they do something. They add something this September. Unless it's added, then those should definitely be there for the 35th anniversary of Metroid. So it's up to Nintendo. They need to do more stuff outside of video games to push Metroid. Metroid should have a series on Netflix or animated series. To flesh out the character of Samus and the Federation Force and all that stuff, because there's some story there that always doesn't come across in the games. So Cray's in the house. What up, Cray? But yeah, that's a great suggestion there, Harui. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but you did, so kudos to you. And I literally just bought those games like a week ago, rebought them like a week ago, because my game N64, I traded some games like I showed you earlier, but my handheld systems end up getting a lot of trading in when it comes time to buy new games. Well, at least it used to be back in the day when I didn't have all the money to keep that stuff. So, yeah. And, everybody's on this Skyward Sword kick right now. I guess because of the leak, or the supposed leak, that could or may not come true. You don't know. So, we'll see what happens. But I don't know. I can live without Skyward Sword being remastered, but I don't mind it. Do you think there's any chance for Star Fox? I mean, Star Fox Zero failed with Miyamoto. I think it wasn't popular enough. I think a redone Star Fox Zero would do wonders. I don't know if I want. I don't want Star Fox Zero redone, Kahuna. That may sound weird coming from a uber Star Fox fan. It's because we need to evolve beyond Star Fox 64, and that was my. People had problems with Star Fox Zero as far as the controls did. I don't have a problem with the controls. My biggest problem with Star Fox Zero is it was too much Star Fox 64. It was just another side retelling of Star Fox 64, and Nintendo doesn't know how to go beyond that game. I think the lead designer for Star Fox 64, if I'm not mistaken, was Dylan Cuthbert, who went on to run Q Games, and he had a lot to do with that. He had a lot to do with Star Fox 2. I'm not sure if he had a lot to do with 1 or not, but Star Fox 2, Star Fox 64, Dylan Cuthbert was, kind of crucial to that. He came back for Star Fox 64 3D. I'm not sure if he had anything to do with Star Fox Command on the DS, but I know he was back for Star Fox 64 3D. But again, that is the third version basically of Star Fox 64. And that is my main problem with Star Fox Zero, is that it's just more Star Fox 64, which I loved Star Fox 64, but they need to evolve that game beyond that. Haruri says thoughts on Assault. Assault was the right evolution for Star Fox. Like, it had issues as far as controls and stuff, and I wasn't huge on the art design. Like, it looked too insecty to me, and I know that they fought the what was it called, insectoids or something. So I get that was part of the thing. I didn't care for that insect kind of art style, because we even went into like the design of the R wings. We're looking more insect like. I didn't like that, but I liked the fact that they did on foot stuff. I liked the fact that there was missions where you could jump into your landmaster and do on foot, and then jump into your ship to help out, with air battles and stuff. Like, that is cool to me. So, who I want to work on the next Star Fox is the team that made Starlink. I want them to merge Starlink with Star Fox Assault. Then we got a game that I would really love and be happy to have. So merge Starlink, Star Fox Assault, and give us some co-op missions. You don't have to do every mission. I would like that, to have every mission co-op. I'm not sure if it would work because you're on rails. It would work for 3D missions when you're in all range mode. It would work a lot better for that. And maybe they should have just like, do something robust, not crazy robust with the online, but give us like, I don't know, 10 co-op missions online, right? And they could be missions that are based in the story missions of the game. But yeah, Ubisoft, but not just Ubisoft, Harui, the actual team at Ubisoft who made Starlink. That's who I want working on it, because I like Starlink. And if you play Starlink, there's sections in Starlink where you go into, like, you fly into these bunker things, and you get what do they call it? You get materials and whatnot for your stats and all that stuff, stat boosts. That stuff should have been you getting out of your ship to do it, because it's really kind of weird camera controls when you go into those little, narrow corridor things. That should be on foot stuff. So if there was a Star Fox game, I think it would. I think you would land your ship and get out, and then that would be great. Land your ship, get out, run through a base on foot, because that stuff is in Assault. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit disjointed. It's not as smooth as what I'm talking about. But that's what you would do. That's how you smooth it out. Like I would work on it for free. I would be the lead director because I'm not a designer. I design levels, on paper, and then somebody else can implement them. Like put that together. I would do it for free. I would, I don't want it. I'd like to get paid. That'd be great. But I care about. I'm passionate enough about that game, Star Fox. I'm passionate enough about that series that I would do it for free, and it would be great. Like I have a clear vision of what, because my imagination when I played Star Fox on Super Nintendo, you have to, those days there's limitations. Even on N64, there's limitations, and so your imagination goes beyond what you're getting in the game. So my imagination went to these things back then that I saw Star Fox in, and again, for me being a fan, and my imagination saying this is the stuff that I saw or I felt that was part of the game, but it really wasn't, the scope or whatever. I think Star Fox fans will appreciate it. I think that's probably what they saw and felt too. And Nintendo clearly doesn't understand what to do with Star Fox. And I think, it's one of those situations where a fan grows up and he gets to work on a game. He's influenced by this game, and so he gets into the industry and he's making other games, and then he gets the opportunity to work on the franchise that, basically pushed him into making games. Like that guy at Ubisoft, again, who worked on Mario plus Rabbids. Like, you could see the emotion in that guy because he likely, I know he was a fan of Nintendo games growing up. He loved Mario, and he probably became a designer because he loved video games because of Mario. And then all of a sudden, oh, you can make a Mario game. What? Like, it got him. And I think that's the way it should go. Harui says Star Fox has an interesting fandom. Yeah, I think because if you look at the sales, the fledgling sales of Star Fox, the peak was Star Fox 64. And none of the games have come close to selling as well. But that peak was such a peak. I talked about the Rumble Pack and how that impacted the game. But again, I think a lot of the reason you have Star Fox fans that are so passionate the way we are is that we see the game as what it could be and as what we believe it should be. And so that's why we have this fervor, this fandom for it, and we want it to be, a series that lives up to how we feel it should be, And some people would call that entitlement. You're being entitled because you think you know better, blah blah blah. But I do. I think I do know better. In this case, I wouldn't sit here and say I can make a better Metroid game, but I feel like for sure I can make the best Star Fox game since Star Fox 64. I feel like I could do that. Like I'm talking about, I could design the level, the mission structure, all that stuff in a way that Star Fox fans would go gaga over it. And so I wish, call me Nintendo. Hit me up on my my Google Mail, my Gmail. Hit me up. We'll have an interview. I think I'll blow your minds. So if a job ever comes up, because Nintendo really probably wouldn't do that because, again, but I would hope that maybe they would get a Western team, I wouldn't be able to work on a team from Ubisoft either. Do Halo fans make Metroid Star Fox fans jealous? What do you mean, Harui? Do Halo fans make Metroid and Star Fox fans jealous? I don't know what you mean there. Because they they get more games recently anyway? I'm a Halo fan too. I wouldn't say we'd like to have more games in our series that we love, but I don't think we're jealous. I don't know if that's the right wording, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, you never can tell. Where am I? Can I not go back? What's going on? What's happening? It's not showing. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's interesting. I hope, as always, that we eventually get the Star Fox we want. Star Fox Zero was like, let's get a Star Fox game out there. Miyamoto's like, let's get a Star Fox game out there without spending too much money and as quickly as possible. Like, that's not the way to make any game, let alone Star Fox game. But see, Halo is a multi-million IP set in space. Star Fox and Metroid are currently directionless. I mean, I guess. I don't feel like. My thing is, I don't think Star Fox and Halo or Star Fox and Metroid should be on this, at least the sales or level as a Halo. I'm not sure if it'll ever get that. You know, like I said, Star Fox peaked on N64, and I think it sold. My God, what did it sell on N64? 7 million copies. That's probably more than. It might be closer to 5. I don't know, but especially in those days, that was amazingly well. So that's the thing that kills me. It's like you did that well, and then you just didn't care anymore, or just let's pass it off to Sega. We don't care about F-Zero anymore, so let's pass it off to Sega. We don't care about Star Fox anymore, so let's pass it off to Sega. Like, these were two, F-Zero didn't sell as much, but F-Zero was a multi-million selling franchise. It sold, I think it sold like 2 million on N64, and it at least sold 1 million. I remember it being a million seller. I remember that little logo. On N64, which is another thing that's great. And then you have Star Fox 64. So these are the two biggest Nintendo first-party IPs that they just said. That's why GameCube disappointed me so much. Because, I don't want to say so much, but in a lot of ways as far as first-party goes. Because Nintendo just seemed to like... Because my freaking mind was through the roof thinking what GameCube Star Fox would be like. Now, I liked Star Fox Assault, but it was just like handed off. They didn't know what to do with it. And so there were things about it that I didn't like. F-Zero, I really like F-Zero GX. So that's not kind of in the same boat. But it's a racing game, so it's a little easier to get that right than it is Star Fox. Was it Namco? It was Namco. I don't think it was Bandai Namco. I don't think they had Bandai then, but I think it was Namco. I think you're right. For Star Fox, Rui. I don't know why I mixed that up. I'm tired. F-Zero was Sega. And it came out great. Like, F-Zero GX is great. But again, it's a racing game. So it's not too hard to get them that right, where Star Fox is about characters, and you're in ships and you're dealing with conflict planetary on a planetary and galaxy level, and they got a lot of stuff right. It was epic in ways, but it missed the mark in some of the storytelling and level design. Like, the on-foot mission level design wasn't the best. And the controls were a little clunky. F-Zero was great. Pyro. Easily one of the best in the series so far. I go back and forth. I think it's probably the best. I mean, again, I'm a huge N64 fan, so some days I might choose F-Zero X over it, but it probably has to be GX. And again, so that's not a hard thing to do. Why can't we get another F-Zero? Why is it so hard? when you can pass that game off and it still be fantastic, maybe even the best game in the series. You pass it off. You can't do Star Fox like that, I don't think, unless you have a passionate team. Again, a team of fans. If you have a team of fans, I think you can do that. I think the Starlink team have to be fans of Star Fox. They have to be, because they treated that Star Fox side story. And if you played it on Switch, it wasn't a side story. I played as Fox the entire time, and that game wouldn't have been as good to me had I not been able to play as Fox and have, support from Falco and Peppy and stuff like that. So Starlink to me is a Star Fox game. I played it like it was a Star Fox game. I need to get back into playing a little bit more. I might play a little bit tonight. I got like 100 hours in that game. So I loved it. And I haven't quite 100%. I'm close. So I want to do that. Is there 3 games on GBA? Because I know Maximum Velocity is on GBA. That's the only one I know of. Is there 3 F-Zero games on GBA? I thought there was only 1. Unless you're saying F-Zero's 3rd game is on GBA. But I could be wrong. I didn't know there were 3 games. That's a lot for one system. And racing games at that. Pyro, I read that already. F-Zero was great. Oh, did I? F-Zero was great as well. Or F-Zero X was great. Okay. It pushed the limits of what N64 can do in terms of speed and frame rate. Yeah, it was 60 frames per second. There weren't a ton of 60 frame games on N64, and it looked like, it felt 60 frames. It was fast and furious, and I loved it. And I was really looking forward to the 64 DD stuff. That only came out in Japan, because Japan is the only one that got the DD, the disk drive. And so, if you don't know, you could create your own tracks and share them with people online through RadNet. I think it was called RadNet for N64 DD, because the DD came with a modem. It was an internal modem, so you had online stuff. Again, Nintendo kills me. You were doing online stuff all the way back on the Super Nintendo. They were doing online stuff, and then you get to the GameCube, which is a perfect setup for your online. They do nothing. Only third party. Only the Phantasy Star Online games were online on GameCube. The Dreamcast games, the Dreamcast ports were online, and that's it on GameCube. That is pathetic, and that was a total misfire on Nintendo's part, because Melee, oh my god, Melee Online would have been fantastic. You had the Madden games, which a lot of people played online on the other consoles, and that's one of the reasons GameCube didn't do as well, because that was another thing I was looking forward to being able to do, was play online. I saw the modem. That was one of the first things they showed as an accessory, and they did nothing with it. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why show something and don't use it? Ever yourself. It's one thing to not use it to its potential, which Nintendo has done. They'll have an accessory, they'll have a cool controller gimmick or something like that they don't fully utilize, like the gamepad. But to do absolutely nothing. What if the gamepad came out and no Nintendo game uses it? None. Would that be crazy? Well, yeah, that would be insane. They already didn't do as much as they should have with it, but here is a first-party device, a first-party accessory, a modem for your GameCube, and they did nothing first-party with it. Nothing. Sega, who was defunct when it came to hardware, was the only company that used that. What do they expect people to do? Run in droves and create their own servers and stuff like that? You have to do that anyway. But if you're not going to do anything as a first-party company to set the standard, then nobody's going to do anything. So it wasn't until Wii that you had other people doing stuff because Nintendo finally started utilizing online themselves on their console. So I don't know. It was really stupid to me. Pyro says maximum velocity. Okay, I do remember GP Legend now that you mention it, but I don't remember Climax. Okay, Climax was Japan only. Okay, so yeah, I do remember GP Legend now. So, because I had maximum velocity, but I remember GP Legend. So yeah, that's crazy. 3 F-Zero games. I never realized it, but yeah, they were F-Zeroed out. After that, they were like, "What else did we do with this? We don't know." Well, let somebody else do it. And there was a rumor. It wasn't a rumor. It was confirmed that they did ask. Who does the Burnout games? Or at least they did the Burnout games. Criterion. They did ask Criterion on Wii U to make a F-Zero game, but I think Criterion was busy. I think they were working on Need for Speed at the time, so they didn't have the time. So they did at least wanted a F-Zero game for Wii U. So ask Criterion now. It shouldn't take. What's development on an F-Zero game? A year and a half tops. Get your engine. The models for GameCube, you still have the source code. Work from that. Scale up from that. Maybe add a few more polygons and stuff. But it shouldn't take much. A lot of people will be very happy with F-Zero GX HD. That probably have to entail Sega, but Sega and Nintendo have a good relationship. So I don't know. I think they should do something because. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed my N64 stuff and my little bit of Switch talk here. The rest of the year is going to be pretty underwhelming to me if it's only collections and ports and remasters. I would hope there would be something new. What is it? Pokemon Snap could come out this year. But again, that's not a game I'm overly excited about. I like Pokemon Snap. I liked it on N64, but it's not like some major game. It's a cool, kind of side game. It's not really a game. You're just taking pictures. It's not that deep. It's cool to have that type of game, but yeah, I think somebody earlier asked about No More Heroes 1 and 2. Who asked about No More Heroes? Would I be cool with No More Heroes 1 and 2? Because I remember seeing that and I was going to comment on it, but something came up that made me forget. No More Heroes 1 and... Oh, there it is. Calicor. You're probably not here anymore. Sorry. If they release No More Heroes 1 and 2 on Switch, will I buy it? Yeah. I would buy it. Again, I wouldn't be overly crazy excited about it because I have both of those games on Wii. But again, they're Wii games. And so they would give it nice HD up like they did. They already have it in HD. Again, that's a game and an engine that they already did in HD for the PlayStation 3. I think No More Heroes 1 is No More Heroes 1. That's the only one that's on PlayStation 3. So it would be somewhat easier to bring that over and port it, and to port 2 in HD, because again, they have the assets. So it wouldn't be, too much of a thing to do. I feel like it's going to happen, and yeah, I'd buy it. Because the sword, the beam sword stuff isn't 1-to-1. And so you can still do the charging up by shaking your Wii remote, or Wii remote would be your your Joy-Con. So you can still do all the cool stuff, and it'll work just as fine to me. So there's no control issues, or nothing would take away from it. And you can do traditional because PlayStation 3 has traditional controls. So you can, it's not hard to implement that. So you can do both for whatever people want. And that's what I hope they do. I hope they don't just go with the PlayStation 3 style control for it. I hope they give me my motion control. So camera setup looks nicer. Yeah, I just moved my camera angle. It was over here, and that background isn't that exciting. So I was just like, why don't I just turn the camera a little bit so you can see my amiibos and my game rack there and stuff like that. And some of this stuff, let me see, moving the wrong way, like that gray. I'm gonna be moving that. I just got it to put more games in because I got games that are kind of just stacked on top of stuff, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna put them in something. So we'll see. Skyward Sword was gyro, not IR. Are you sure? Oh, did I say it was IR? I don't think I said it was IR. It's 1-to-1 though. Gyro is just looking. It's just camera movement. Whereas Skyward Sword's controls are, like I said, 1-to-1. So it moves in a 3D space. I don't think gyro really does that. I think it mimics it, but I don't think it does it perfectly. I mean, it could work fine, but I don't think they would only use motion, Gamer Talk, because of the Switch. Because you can't do that when you're in handheld mode. I think they would find a way to have traditional controls into that game, and that would be where the difference would be. So I think for the most part, gyro would be okay. I don't think it'll be as quick and as precise. But for traditional controls, because you're going to have traditional controls in it, that's the difference because of the way the Switch is set up. You can't play Skyward Sword on your Switch Lite, using motion controls, unless you have to have a separate Joy-Con. But that's just not it. You want it to work with what you have. You don't want to have to go out and buy a controller. No, Nintendo's not going to make a game where you have to buy an accessory for it to work. Last time they did that was N64, and they were really pushing it. And there was only one game or two games that you had to have the oh my gosh, the what is it called? The expansion pack. I don't think it'll be the same. From what my understanding of how the what is it called? The Wii Motion Plus works. But I mean, the more important way, I mean, you can mimic it for the most part, even if it's not perfectly the same. That's fine. You can mimic it well enough. But my thing is, what you have to get right is traditional controls in Skyward Sword, and that's where it gets tricky. So for me, I'm going to use motion. But again, if you have a Switch Lite, or even just you want to go handheld, you're not going to be using motion. You're going to want to use traditional controls. So, can it be done? Yeah. The thing is, will it be implemented well? That's the thing. You can do it. I can think of a way to do it. Just right off the top of my head, use the D-pad. Use the D-pad like so. When you're supposed to swing a certain way from a certain direction, press the D-pad, and your sword will automatically go like so. You press left on the D-pad, your sword will get ready for a left swing, a left to right swing, and slice down, you press up on the D-pad, and you press the action button to slice down. So there's ways you could do it. That would be a little bit more cumbersome. That would be a little bit more clunky, but it will work. It will work for the most part, and it wouldn't be too bad. So that's what they got to get right, the traditional stuff. So we'll see if it's true. I mean, it might not even be true. So if it's true, that's something they could do, because they people have emulated that game, and they haven't had motion to do it. So they've done something. I haven't really looked into it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, No More Heroes I would totally buy. Gamer Talk, that's what I'm saying. With motion, the Switch can do it, but other than that, handheld Switch, yeah, so we're agreeing. They got to figure it out. And, if it's true, they've already figured it out. Will we be happy with it? That's another question. So, but yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you this evening. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it, as always. I wish I could figure out what's up with my channel, because I'm just frozen in time. My subscriptions will not move. There's, like I said, there is a definite coding problem with my channel, because I go from 5,000 subscribers to 5,010 subscribers, and they go down to 5,000, and they go back to 5,010. That's not normal fluctuation. And I see, if I look at my my analytics, I see people subscribing. So something is definitely wrong, and it's annoying. It's disheartening, and I don't know what happened to my channel. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. See you on the next one. The next time you see me on live, I will be streaming something. I don't think my copy, because I had to buy a new copy of, well, not new, but Terminator Juice sold me his copy of Eternal Darkness. And that's what I wanted to stream, but my copy has a disc error issue, so I actually sold it. So I got a little money out of it, because somebody thought they could fix it. So I sold it, and we'll see what happens when that comes. But I think I haven't decided. Maybe I'll stream Dreamcast or something. But I want it to be GameCube. I want my first, or maybe N64. Maybe I'll stream something on N64 that you guys haven't seen. Maybe I'll stream what's the what is the game called? I just showed it by Take-Two, that team. Body Harvest. Maybe I'll stream that. It's a pretty cool game. You could see the GTA in that game for sure. So that'll be cool. Alright guys, thank you again for the 5th time for watching. I'm really out of here this time. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Or should I say, I'll see you fools next time. I'm frozen. Peace out.